With 2020 being election year, what's going on with you with the Black Lives Matter movement? Like, how are you feeling about that these days and the constant media reinforcement of Black lives?
I was really taken back when Black Lives Matter first came to the forefront of the media, so to speak, in the US, because Black Lives Matter movement isn't new. It started maybe when was it, like 2014?
Yes.
And, it's just existed. And all of a sudden, everyone from everywhere is starting to speak about the importance of being Black. I've been Black my whole life. So all of a sudden, someone's telling me that I matter and I'm important. And I'm like, wait, hold up. I agree, but
why are we talking about this? What's really going on?
Really uncomfortable about it. So it's like, yeah, share my little hashtag, and then I'm seeing everyone else, and I'm just like, it just doesn't really sit right with me.
Yeah.
I don't really like the way this is happening and how it has happened, and I think it needs to take place. But it's quite overwhelming, and not all of it is negative, but I've seen so many friends stand in solidarity, but I've also seen a lot of dehumanizing and ignorant behavior, not over the Black Lives Matter movement, though. This year, in reference to the election and the political climate, with the pandemic, with everything, it's just been a lot. And I don't feel good about the U.S. in any shape, way, or form right now. I'm not hopeful about the state of the U.S., and I'm not really hopeful about the future of the U.S. And I hate to feel like that because I'm American. And currently, I don't live in America because I don't feel comfortable there. Yeah. And I feel like I am trying my best to dissociate just for my mental health. And to be honest, I don't think that's the healthiest thing to do. But at the same time, it is really overwhelming. Just recently, Breonna Taylor's verdict came out, and a grand jury did not charge any of those officials for killing her in her own apartment. She was a victim of police misconduct. She was not just killed, in my opinion. Like, her life was taken unjustly from her. She was murdered in her apartment. That's how I feel. She lost her life, but there were no charges for this misconduct. And the only charge that was given was to a detective. He had 3 counts of, wanton endangerment. So basically, for just shooting recklessly, he was charged. There wasn't just reckless shooting. There was shooting that killed, and there was a loss of life and nothing. Things like this, I don't even really know how to process fully in reference to how should I react to that. I'm definitely not okay with that type of verdict. I think it's unjust. Her family received a settlement. Money does not bring anyone back. And it's beyond just this idea of, even if someone was charged and went to jail, this shouldn't be happening in the first place.
Absolutely. It's heavy. it's heavy because, like, to empathize with her and her situation and reflect from it, it could have been one of us. We're two Black women.
Someone I know.
Yeah, it could have been someone that we know that's very close to us. And the way that it all happened and things like of that nature, it's like they spent like over 100 days, almost 200 days, coming up with how they were going to justify this in the name of the law. And I think just as a Black woman, it does make me very anxious about being in America, because what if someone gets a warrant and wrongfully comes to my property and start, spilling out all this information that I cannot process in this moment. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And everything starts to move so fast. And you're like in handcuffs on the ground, tased, because you're really trying to figure things out. It's like, what are you really supposed to do when the cops come around? Are you supposed to freeze and just obey them like you a dog or something? Like, sit when they say sit, comply? Like, I feel like the psychological warfare on people of color has been happening, and it's constantly happening. It's just being marketed differently. It's being done differently. And people who were born to the ancestors of the people who started this, they're still here, and they still have these beliefs deep down in them. The superiority and the inferiority complex that we kind of hold and have as a people. Being
socialized.
Yes.
When people are socialized, I think this bias is just kind of really deeply ingrained in society. And I've been living overseas for about almost 4 years now. Beyond my love for travel and reckless adventure and experiencing cultures, I live abroad because I feel like it's more beneficial for me than living.
Yes, absolutely.
Not only just economically, but emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And economics and your emotional well-being go together too.
But hallelujah. Girl Scout law. That needs to be the new Girl Scout law. Okay? The new Girl Scout law.
I make a livable wage here in Korea. I have great benefits in reference to housing, affordable health care, access to dental, vision. If I need some government resources, I can get it. I'm not even a citizen of this country.
Hello.
If I decided to stay in Korea, there is a system in place by the government for me to receive an account.
Okay.
I just feel like my lifestyle is just more comfortable abroad than it is in the US. Yeah. And I just feel safer. Physically, I am safer. And emotionally, I am safer. I don't enjoy the social and the political climate in the US. Yeah. And as a Black woman, it is very emotionally taxing for me.
Absolutely.
Like the outcome of Breonna Taylor and that verdict solidified the reason why I am where I am right now.
I have very, very, very similar views. I'm currently living in India. I left Korea 2019 December, came to India, got on lockdown here, and I've been here ever since. And the simplicity of my life here, oh my gosh, I can sleep. I can take 5 naps a day if I want to. I don't have to work so hard to live. I love that. I love that my life is simplified and I'm not stressed to just be a Black woman. Yes, you face other things that you have to overcome. You don't run away from your insecurities or anything. So if you're listening to this and you think that that's a part of it, no. You have to learn how to actually adapt and assimilate and be a part of a whole different society that doesn't really look like you, yet there are other people of color here that you can engage in and create a family with and things of that nature. So that's my thing when it comes to living abroad. And another thing is you don't have to like wake up every morning and go to work and get in this motion of feeling this cloud of oppression over your head because you engage in a world that is quite oppressive for people that looks like you. That's a thing for me. And that's what I love about living abroad. I don't have to, my nervous system is not fighting for its life everywhere I go, you know?
And it doesn't mean that just if you move abroad, all your answers are solved. Like
No.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for the faint, okay? It's not for the faint.
If you do not like what's going on there, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for me, this works.
Yeah.
Is it any perfect place for me? Actually, no. Can I escape all the woes of prejudice and racism? No. However, there are some places that I feel like I can go in the world and feel more comfortable about my overall life. So I decided to set myself up for success. And that's just it, plain and simple.
Yes. Fun facts about American expats, you guys. Out of 2.9 million American expats, only about 7% of them voted in the 2016 election. 7% of 2.9 million is about 200,000 people, roughly. So, everybody else, what y'all doing out there? I would love to know the point of view of people who just absolutely disassociate themselves with the US. I've seen and heard some people that's like, look, I left the US for a reason. I don't want nothing to do with it. Case in point, Tina. She gave them their passport. You can have this passport back. What do you mean? I am a citizen of Switzerland and a Buddhist monk.
Low-key, I'm Jamaican. Actually, I am Jamaican.
Yes, you are.
But like,
would you move there? Would you move there?
For sure. I actually do feel like I want to be in Jamaica for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I feel like that, like, when it comes to like my plan or something, I want to nest somewhere in Africa.
I have to go to Africa. I gotta be up in there, honey.
Yes. What do you guys think about this fun fact about American expats? Do you think it's good, bad, right, or wrong? I know a lot of people have a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to voting and feeling like our ancestors died for us, people of color, to be able to, Black folks, to be able to actually vote, you know? Yet, case in point, like a James Baldwin, he chunked the deuces too.
I know. James Baldwin. Okay, speaking of another love of mine, I am literally in love with James Baldwin. I'm literally in love with James Baldwin. If he was not gay or dead, he would be my husband.
Okay, cool.
He would be my husband. I love James Baldwin.
It's a James Baldwin type dude out here walking around, honey. Just right for you.
He connects to my soul, like in every single way possible. He articulates my voice to me.
Yes.
James Baldwin is my voice.
Mm.
And he was a voice that I didn't know I had. When I discovered him in a communications class, we had to read a short story. And from that story, I started listening to a lot of jazz music and got into Charlie Parker because he talks about Charlie Parker in that story. And then I just didn't even know who he was, like as an activist. And a figure, because you don't learn that in school. But the power of the internet. Then I started researching him, and I realized that he's a prolific speaker and writer and talked about Black issues.
But yes, I was actually, I got into Baldwin when I moved to Korea the first time. And when I moved to Korea, I started reading extensively because I couldn't talk to nobody. So I would get on the train and just read books until the train, like it would be the last stop. And I've never been into reading before then. And it just kind of opened me up to like who he was and the voice that he did have. But
let's go back, talk about this fact. I didn't say fun fact.
Okay, so about voting overseas, being an expat. How do you feel about that? Were you one of the 2003?
My business is my business. I have a heavy dissociation, but at the same time, I think it is very important to vote. I registered to vote, and I encourage everyone who's listening to this to do so. Yeah, we can complain and we can have grievances, but as citizens, that is a right that we have, and it is power that we hold. And if we don't use it, if we don't exercise our rights, then I feel we lose some of our rights in a sense. So let's do what we need to do.
Yes, exactly. Voting is definitely a right and not a privilege. Based on our history as people of color, voting is your right and not your privilege. And if you believe in that wholeheartedly, exercise your right to vote to put people in office that you believe will be the best person. This is not only the presidential election. Get more involved in all of the elections that you have. You vote for Senate, you vote for Congress, you vote for every part and every level. If you believe in voting, become more informed about what that really, really is, because you have local elections that make a big difference. So not only focus on the presidential election, but focus on the other elections, your mayors, your, House of Representatives, all of these. So if you believe in that, be strong in your beliefs and do what you have to do. Do you think it's a matter of being a part of the problem or a part of the solution?
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both.
I feel like I can choose what side of the scale I'm gonna fall on.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you guys, what do you think about it? What do you think of the current presidential candidates that we have for the year 2020, voting on November 3rd, which is a Tuesday? I also encourage you guys to get out and vote early so that you can avoid some of the mayhem. A lot of people are doing absentee ballots, and some of the deadlines either have passed or the deadlines are coming up. So be aware of that. And also,
a really simple process. Literally, you just apply for your ballot. You get your ballot, and then you send it back. And the way it's set up now, you can currently do that through email or through mailing that to your embassy. There's a lot of ways that it can be done, just depending on your state. And it's not difficult at all.
Yes, yes. So we appreciate you guys for listening to the Black Expat Voices with your girl Whitney and
Roya.
And be sure to engage in the comments, ask any questions that you may have, and we look forward to bringing you more beautiful content in the near future. Have a beautiful day. Tell yourself that you love yourself, because ain't nobody gonna love you like you love you, honey.